BTV Broadcasting ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਔਰ ਸਾਡੇ 20 ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਵਾਰਡਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਆਪਣੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਲੰਘੇ 3-4 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਮੀਆਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂ 6-7 ਮਹੀਨਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਰੇਸ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਪਈ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੀ ਵੇਟ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਪਰ ਉਸਦੇ ਜੱਜ ਕੌਣ ਨੇ? ਉਸਦੇ ਜੱਜ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੋ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ। ਸੋ ਵੋਟ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਾਣਾ। ਔਰ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਾਰਡ 3 ਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੱਕ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਰੱਖੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਐਂਡਰੂ ਯੁਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ। ਸੋ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਵਾਰਡ 3 ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਤੇ ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਸੱਦਾ ਪੱਤਰ ਭੇਜਿਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹਾਂ ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਫਸਟ ਆਫ ਆਲ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਐਂਡਰੂ ਫॉर ਟਾਕਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਅਸ। ਥੈਂਕ
Yeah,
ਯੂ।
no, thank you.
So, Andrew, we'll start with the very simple question, okay? How is the campaigning going?
You know, it's been a long trek. I've
Yeah.
been door knocking since May.
Yeah.
And so it's going great. I mean, great reception at the doors. People are excited for what will be.
Yeah.
Our ward doesn't have an incumbent. Jasmine Meehan has decided
Yeah.
not to run. And so there will be change in Ward 3. And so people are excited to see what's coming.
Yeah, there will be change for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
And people are really excited to see this change as well, because they have a huge expectation from any of the representative who will represent them in the city hall. So when you go for door knocking, you said you started in since May, right? So what is the common question you are getting from the voters?
You know, in Ward 3, it's infrastructure. We have grown to a population size the size of Airdrie, and we have a third of the amenities and infrastructure that Airdrie has. When the city of Calgary puts in infrastructure, whether that's a rec center or a fire station, they go to the far northwest or the far northeast, and they kind of forget us up here in the middle. And so infrastructure is a big piece, especially transit. Transit infrastructure is really needed.
Yeah.
We have some of the highest ridership in North Central Calgary.
Yes.
And the Green Line is not coming in my lifetime. And so we actually need to do something about these overloaded buses that we have up Center Street. And we have to do something about the high density sprawl that's going north of Stony Trail.
Yeah.
Without the transit infrastructure. We need to make sure that we are building the infrastructure at the same pace as we are the density.
Yeah, it's been so many years, Andrew. Why there is no connection between the Ward 3 and the rest of the city in terms of transit?
You know, it's been we've needed strong voices at council to really push for the north. The problem with the Green Line happened this past term, in that we had strong voices in the south that were taking the rail to Shepherd instead of the north, where we have overloaded buses. In 2016, when they did the reporting on whether or not we should go north or south, the north buses, the 301, the 3, had 40% of our overloaded buses in the entire city. And so all this data was pointing that it should have went north first, but they went to the south. And so we still have that ridership. We still have those overloaded buses. So that's not going away for another couple decades here. And so I need to go to council and make sure that we make the buses better.
Yeah.
We make sure that there's dedicated lanes and priority for the buses up Center Street, because that's all we're going to get for the next 20 to 30 years.
Absolutely. So the population is growing. It's booming. We used to say it's booming. Now it's crowded, right?
Fair.
So what's your take on the population, which is actually growing a lot, and they are making their home in Ward 3, but the safety is the main issue again for that population, new population also, and the older population. Sometimes they blame on the new immigrants or migrants, but how to control this population with public safety?
Public safety is huge, like especially because we are regardless of the population, like that's kind of out of our control. Calgary is booming. We are bringing more and more people. We just need to make sure that we are building smartly. So my campaign promise is fairness in development. So as we grow, especially in the booming areas of Livingston and Carrington, we need to bring that infrastructure in, that safety infrastructure as
Yeah.
well. A big part of that is our fire stations. We have a lot of temporary fire stations.
Yeah.
And in the old model of growth, it was okay to have a
Temporary
temporary
ones. Yeah.
fire stations for a long period of time. Hidden Valley, which is one of our communities, has had a temporary fire station for over 30 years.
Wow.
So we really need to get past those temporaries and start putting in actual fire stations, making sure that we have the safety infrastructure.
Yeah.
Another point of safety is just on our roads. 144th Avenue
Yeah.
is getting busier and busier as the days go on, and we need to make sure that pedestrians can cross that road safely. And
Yeah.
there's not enough safety lights, pedestrian lights to have people cross that road. And being that I grew up when Country Hills Boulevard used to be like 144th Avenue,
Yeah.
I've had friends that have been killed on that road, like on Country Hills Boulevard, because we didn't keep up with the safety infrastructure
Yeah.
when it comes to pedestrian lights. So.
What you gonna do for Country Hills Boulevard? I know it's one of the busiest roads,
Mm-hmm.
and people sometimes get really late to the work, and when they commute to northeast and to northwest.
Yes.
This is the same issue in the northeast as well.
Right. Right.
So what to do with the Country Hills Boulevard? Do you have any plans regarding that?
Well, there is a project that's been on the books for a long time. It's called the Country Hills Boulevard Widening Project. It definitely needs amplified, and there's a lot of opportunity there as well. I started a group called the Nose Creek Preservation Society,
Okay.
and so Country Hills Boulevard actually goes through the Nose Creek Valley. A update to the Country Hills Boulevard would be a great opportunity to build for what we're trying to do now in North Central Calgary. Back when they built Country Hills Boulevard,
Yeah.
they didn't even think about having a park in the Nose Creek Valley. We're trying to build a park there. Having some project along Country Hills Boulevard would definitely be an opportunity to pull other projects together as well. And so when we are growing so densely in Ward 3, we are feeling the pinch on every artery, whether it's Country Hills Boulevard, Beddington Trail, 14th Street, Center Street.
Yeah.
We're feeling that population because we're not keeping up with the infrastructure needs to support that population.
Yeah. So more population, more opportunity for small businesses as well.
Absolutely.
So we have seen I will not say gradual, kind of a bigger growth in the small businesses and more colorful businesses as well, multicultural businesses as well. We have a lot of now, because we talk about Indian restaurants, we have a lot in Ward 3 as well.
Yeah.
We have some grocery stores. We have a lot of new immigrants who wants to be a business owner. The new generation, they really want to do entrepreneurships, right? So they are starting new businesses. Do you have any vision for the small businesses as well? Any support?
Well, one thing that we don't have in Ward 3 is a business improvement area.
Yeah.
And I really want to encourage businesses to come together because when I am at the doors, like some people make some jokes about like, hey, can you bring more restaurants to our area?
Yeah.
And it's like we do need to have more business improvement areas that are trying to build the vibrancy of our communities.
Yeah.
Because we can engage the business sector to make sure that we are bringing in more of an atmosphere of community within our businesses, within our business groups, and I definitely want to be a proponent of that. The other thing that we have a lot of in Ward 3 is entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
that are just kind of in their own houses, running their business.
Yeah.
I really want to make sure that we are amplifying their businesses in Ward 3 and really kind of like as a counselor championing their growth in our community, because their growth, the more vibrancy. The other thing that other people ask at the doors is we don't have a craft brewery in our
Yeah.
we don't have. And the other thing is like what we were talking about, trying to find a location for tonight's event. Like we don't have a lot of locations like that, and so businesses can also be that help to have events like this tonight, and because we are looking for community building groups, whether that's businesses, whether that's community associations, I just want to be a champion to lift your voices to make sure that our communities get more vibrant and get more attractive for people to come into our communities.
That's great. Actually, we were trying to do the arrange a debate as well for Ward 3. We have done it for Ward 5.
Yeah.
In Ward 5, when we wanted to search for a hall or any event center, there were more than 15 options we had,
Yeah.
right? But in Ward 3, we couldn't find one. So I also met with your team, met with the other candidates. They were all planning to come, but we couldn't find an event center.
Yeah.
So what about the next rec room? When is it coming in Ward 3?
Yeah, so that's been the big thing, is like we've been reliant on Vivo for many years, and it's already gone through an expansion, and it is still bursting at the seams, and utilization is great for Ward 3, but we do need to make sure that we are looking at the next rec center. Like I said, we've grown out to a population size the size of Airdrie. Airdrie is already working on their second rec center. And we aren't even thinking about it. And so with the game plan strategy that the city of Calgary passed in the last term, I need to make sure that Ward 3 is on that list for the next recreation center, for the next recreation space. And that, like, even the smallest things of like a splash park, a public splash park, we don't have one in Ward 3 for kids to come and with their parents to enjoy the outdoors. So it's all these little amenities, as like including the big amenities, that we need to make sure that we're getting our fair share in North Central Calgary.
100%. And what about parks? And I have noticed in Ward 3, I have seen in 2 or 3 parks, the maintenance of the parks are not done correctly. So do you have any plans for that?
So parks is near and dear to my heart, in that I started the Nose Creek Preservation Society. We are trying to get a regional park in Ward 3. We don't have one. That's another thing, is we don't have a regional park like most wards do. And so I do need to get, that's the big scale parks. The small scale parks, like a lot of our parks are at the end of their life cycle, and the city has to take those out due to liability reasons. They have to take those out. They don't really have plans to put parks back in. And so that puts a lot of onus on the communities to find fundraising to get stuff in there. I definitely want to make sure that we are providing park spaces for our families. But you said maintenance, like that's another thing, is making sure that we're getting the services we need to maintenance those parks as well. A lot of those services are third-party contracts. So one thing I would like to do at council is make sure that we do an audit of our third-party contracts, because if we're not getting the best bang for our buck, we got to make sure that we're making the decisions to make that better.
No, that's great. One of the main concerns of the voters for Ward 3, they complain that the property tax, they pay a lot of property taxes, higher property taxes, of course, but they are not getting anything in return, right? And this is one of the main concerns for the voters, and because of this also, they are not actually want to vote anyone. So they don't even want to vote any of the candidate. They are about 35% of the total voters in Calgary. If we count all the wards, or every voter, they actually confused about voting anyone, because they think that they've been cheated, or maybe the property taxes, they are paying higher taxes and not getting anything in return. So what do you want to say to those voters?
Yeah, I mean, taxes, like I hear it all the time at the doors. The taxes keep going up. We're not getting the return on investment. In North Central Calgary, we pay the same taxes as every other quadrant of the city, and sometimes it feels like other quadrants are getting more of the attention. I can say, like, when I'm looking at the stats, 38% of our roads are in good condition. That's not great.
38% is a very low number.
The national average we should be up at 61%, and we're way down here at 38%. And so we really need to make sure that we're not just doing these one-time fundings. That's what previous councils have done. It's like, oh well, we got to top it up with a one-time funding. We actually need to start funding some of these projects. But and that's why I'm not going to be the counselor at your door saying I'm going to freeze taxes or I'm going to lower taxes. But my goal has been, let's bring value back to those taxes, because the value piece is what because when I talk to people at the doors, as soon as I talk about like, would you like to see the value come back to it? They'd be like, yeah, I'd be willing to pay the taxes that I'm being paid or I'm paying if I can see the value coming back. And when we have 38% of our roads at a good condition, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They can't see that the taxes that they are paying are
Yeah.
going into the infrastructure that they're paying for.
Yeah. For the traffic also, people are struggling with the lack of stop signs
Hmm.
or lights
Yeah,
because there are new intersections,
yeah,
new blind spots.
yeah.
So I know it sounds very blessed though, but it's a big concern for people.
Hmm.
So what do you want to say about that?
Yeah, I mean that's really important, especially like we were just up in Carrington this
Yeah.
past week, and
Yeah.
they are feeling it because like every day a new person kind of moves into their
Yeah.
community, and every day it gets more and more traffic. My in-laws live in Livingston, and
Okay.
so when we go drop the kids off to their grandparents, and then we're trying to get out of there and there's no lights, it's like you're putting your life
Yeah.
in
Yes.
your
Yes.
hands as you're
Yes.
trying to like get out
Yeah.
into traffic.
Yeah.
So we do, like, that comes back to my piece on fairness and development. If we are growing that density so richly, we need to make sure that the infrastructure is there on day one with when people are moving in, because if we wait too long, there is going to be an accident. There could be a fatality
Yeah.
because we're not keeping that safety infrastructure in place when people are moving into their new homes.
Yeah.
So,
I think we have a lot of more questions, but we have a lot of questions from the voters, which they actually wanted to reach you.
okay,
You have a press conference today as well. So about the property taxes, you said you will not freeze it, you will not lower it, but at least they can get the value of their money.
that's
So,
right.
so from where will you start so that they can get the value of their money?
Yeah, so I think it all comes down to November's budget. So
Hmm.
that's the first thing that this council is going to do is look at this budget, and so we have to be meticulous in looking in that budget, and making sure that we are focusing on the core services that the city is supposed to be providing. I do plan as a councillor to engage my community when that happens in November.
Yeah.
Want to make sure that I am having town halls, making sure I'm having surveys to make sure that the decisions that I make in that budget in November are coming from my community.
Hmm.
They're flowing through my community into my decisions at that council meeting.
Will you be available for the normal public to call you?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely,
Because
definitely.
that's also a main issue from them.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely want to be accessible, like, because that's been a big thing at the doors as well.
Yeah.
Is I do want to make myself available
Yeah.
when people have issues. I do want to make sure that I'm responding to phone calls and to our emails, because whether they agree with me or not,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that they understand the decisions that I'm
Yeah.
making. I don't
Because a
want.
lot of people when they call the uh, office of
Hmm.
the candidates of the previous counselors,
Hmm.
they will always say "Ki just call 311," right? So
Hmm.
they sometimes they get frustrated with the answer.
Yeah.
So if they can contact you directly or can contact your office,
Hmm.
so that's the guarantee they want.
Absolutely. I mean, like, a big thing about a counselor's office is we want to make sure that if you're not satisfied with the service you're getting through bylaw or the 311 report, we can help
Yeah,
amplify that
at
cause
least, yeah.
for you. And so that's definitely high on my priority list, because I've been there. I've submitted my own 311 requests that haven't been
Hmm.
answered in the way that I'd like it to be answered, and I've amplified that through my counselor's office.
Hmm.
So definitely want to be that champion for the community. My one of my platforms is amplify our community's voice, and that's my job as a counselor. Just make sure that your voice is heard at City Hall and at council.
No, that's great. One of the main issues in Ward 3 especially is homelessness as well. I know it's not the city project or city's thing to do. You
Hmm.
have to work with the provincial government, sometimes with the federal as well.
Yeah.
So what's your take on it? How will you address that problem? Because it's becoming a city problem now.
It is, yeah, and I want to make sure that we are engaging the right civic partners. We do have civic partners like Alpha House that are doing great work on the ground, boots on the ground with people. Want to make sure that we are, helping with funding, helping with engagement with our police force, making sure that people are finding the resources they need. That's the most important, is making sure that people who are experiencing houselessness are getting the resources they need.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Andrew, for talking to us. And in the end, just a simple question again: why should people vote for Andrew Yule?
Well, I grew up in Ward 3. I've lived a generation up here in Ward 3 of missing and poor infrastructure that I'd like to bring a voice to, and that I have been for the last 10 years. I've been doing advocacy in our community. I helped get the North Trail High School built. I started the Nose Creek Preservation Society, and this is the next level of advocacy that I'd like to take, uh, to just come up to council and advocate for our whole ward. And so that's what I intend to do. We've got 2 days here to the election. And so I hope I can earn your vote over the next 2 days here.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for
No, thank
talking
you.
to us. Thank you. And hopefully, our listeners will listen to you.
Yeah.
And I always appeal them to at least vote, even if they want to vote any candidate, but at least they vote, because this time we are experiencing in the advanced polls as well, people not turning up to the poll stations. So, thank you so much for taking time and talking to us. Thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Couple days here. I am exhausted. I have done a lot of door knocking. I was door knocking this morning. I don't even know where I was. It's one of those things where we are just trying to get to the end here, and so I really appreciate the turnout tonight. I really appreciate you taking your time tonight to come and support us. This is a big deal. Ward 3 has felt like the forgotten ward for my whole life. We have lots of infrastructure holes, lots of needs like transit and recreation, and I hope to bring that voice to council. I've done a lot of advocacy over the last 10 years, trying to get infrastructure that we need. I helped get the North Trail High School built. I started the Nose Creek Preservation Society, and this is just the next logical step for me. Jump up to council, advocate for the whole ward. But I've been doing all this like while I've been raising my family, while I've been a VP of a company called Soul that makes orthopedic insoles. It's been a busy time over the last 10 years. This is an important time for Ward 3, and I want to be there at council advocating for you. We have big needs in transit. We have a crisis when it comes to transit. Our buses are overloaded. I want to address that transit crisis. Development is huge, and I want fairness in development. We've grown out to a population size the size of Airdrie, and we have a third of the infrastructure and amenities that Airdrie has. And so Ward 3 needs a councillor that will advocate for the things that we need up in North Central Calgary. The other thing is core services for the North. I've been talking to every one of you, and you've been talking about how the taxes keep going up, but we are not seeing the return on investment when it comes to those taxes. We have roads that are, like the stat right now is 38% of Calgary's roads are good. Only 38% of our roads are good. And that is way below the national average of 61%. We need to get our roads up to a better level, especially with the taxes that you are paying. And then finally, just I want to amplify the community's voice. That's what I want to do for each and every one of you, is making sure that your voices are heard when it comes to City Hall, city administration. It can be frustrating. I talked to some of you tonight about 311 requests or bylaw issues that you've had, and haven't gotten the issue resolved. And so that is the job of a councillor, to make sure that your voice is heard at council. So those are the things that I'm working on, and I really appreciate the support that's come out tonight. One of the big things about this campaign is campaigns cost money, and so if you are open to helping support, there's ways on my website, andrewewell.ca, that you can come out and help with some fundraising. But ultimately, what I'm trying to do tonight, because the election is 2 days away, I'm trying to earn your vote. And so if you do have more questions, I'll be here tonight to answer those questions. But ultimately, it's a big day on Monday. And so I encourage all of you to do the research. The one big thing that comes up at the doors is the hardest part. Like, a lot of people are like, yeah, Andrew, we're we're supporting you, but the mayoral race is hard to hard to figure out. So make sure you do your research. Make sure that you look into all the candidates. It's a very close race in the mayoral race as well. So we just need a good council that can work together and make sure that we get things done up here at Ward 3. And so again, I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank Gurpinder for hosting tonight. And there's still a lot of food and drinks, so please partake. And if you do have any questions, please come track me down and let's chat it out. Otherwise, andrewewell.ca is my website. You can find all my platform pieces there. My email is also there as well. So if you have more questions ahead of the vote, please don't hesitate to email. And thank you again for coming tonight.
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੇ। ਐਂਡਰੂ ਏਲ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਹੈ, ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਇਆ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜੇ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਓ। ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਾਓ। ਬਟ ਵੋਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਆਪਣਾ ਵੇਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਵੋਟ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਜਿਹਦੀ ਵੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜਿਤਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਔਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਹੋਰ ਸਵਾਲ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੁੱਛ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਅਗਲੇ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਲਾਂਗੇ। ਦੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ BTV ਬ੍ਰੌਡਕਾਸਟਿੰਗ। ਬੀ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ, ਬੀ ਯੋਰਸੈਲਫ।